morning, Carter Cash here, and I'm at the entrance to the Boot Hill Museum in historic Dodge City, Kansas. The museum has two main sections to it. The first is a large indoor exhibit hall, and the second is an outdoor recreation of the 1870s Front Street, Dodge City. So let's jump right into it. While we're going through the museum, I'll just give you a quick history of Dodge City. It was first settled in 1847 as Fort Mann. It was built by civilians to help protect travelers along the Santa Fe Trail. At that point in time, Kansas didn't exist yet, and the area was still part of Mexican territory. Now, fast forward to 1871, and Dodge City is first platted out by rancher Henry Stiller, who sets up a place to oversee his cattle ranch. In 1872, the railroad arrived in Dodge City, and thanks to a little help from a Texas tick infestation, the Kansas State Legislature tried to stop Texas longhorns from entering eastern Kansas by establishing a quarantine line. This line effectively put Baxter Springs, Abilene, and Wichita, Kansas all out of the Texas longhorn cattle business. That move effectively left only Dodge City as an input rail hub for Texas longhorns. Thus began Dodge City's 12-year run as a major cattle hub. Now, as a point of irony, TV's fictional western Gunsmoke, which was based on Dodge City, began its run in 1955 and ran continuously until 1975, compared to the real-life Dodge City, which really only flourished for about 12 years. Now, let's get back to our tour of the Boot Hill Museum. Well, that certainly is an extensive museum they have inside of artifacts. And this is their recreation of Front Street. We're going to walk around and look in these shops. A lot of them are open. And we can go up the stairs over there to the original cemetery. Now, my understanding is that these are some of the original graves from Dodge City's Boot Hill. These are the graves of real people, such as Blackjack here, who was black, and in 1872 was shot through the head and died instantly. And a horse thief here who was hanged in 1878, only to find out later that he actually didn't steal the horse. And lastly, there was Charlie Hill, who in 1873 was killed by the town vigilante committee. All in all, the real Dodge City's law enforcement was quite a bit different than the TV's version of Matt Dillon in Gunsmoke. We're in the recreation of Main Street in town, and it's a selection of buildings that you can actually go through, and each one is set up as its own little museum. Very interesting. A lot of repeating rifles. I'm looking forward to seeing an actual version of my favorite gun at home, which is a sawed-off 12-gauge double barrel called a Coachman, and was modeled after shotguns that Coachmans carried on sticks. Oh, matter of fact, now, well, yeah, it's something similar to this. Very similar. Nice thing is you don't have to aim. You just point and shoot. If you got within 6 feet of it, you hit it. right down to the notches on the handle. Apparently there wasn't a lot of vetting when you became a sheriff or a marshal. If you wanted it, you pretty much had it. Well, I finally stumbled into a room that is exactly like my studio back home. Except I usually don't have that many half-drank beers. I tell you what, they have done an amazing job of assembling artifacts from the, well, 1872 to 1884 was the prime period for Dodge City. Well, we went through the inside of it, and it was very impressive. We walked down the boardwalk down here. There's a couple other places to look at, the chapel, and I forget what the last one was. And we'll take a walk down through what's left of Old Town. My understanding is they have gunfight reenactments a couple times a day here, but I don't think I have to stay for that. I can see that in my own neighborhood. And a nice example of architecture at their time, but I suspect this would have been a very somewhat wealthy person's home, not your average sod farmhouse that somebody lived in. Right down to the well pump right in the front yard, and of course the bathroom outside. I'm guessing this is circa 1870s blacksmith tools, and I think it was the LSU Rural Life Museum that I looked at that had the blacksmith shop from the pre-Civil War 1860s, 1850s plantation, actually. And you can see fundamentally the same, but a lot of the tools here are a lot more advanced. Anyway, very nice. I would say if you're in Dodge City, definitely come to the Boot Hill Museum. It's fairly cheap. I think it was $14 for an adult, $10 for a senior, and I don't know, something for a kid. But it's very nice. Very nice, particularly if you like history, which I do. I am going to go ahead and walk over to the brew pub. It's supposed to be very good craft beers they brew themselves, and food is supposed to be real good. So let's go check it out. Okay, we are here at Dodge City Brewery, brew house, and I have a platter of beer. This certainly has exceeded my expectations. Right now, 50% of the beer has passed, and that's a first for me. Let's see how the pizza goes. The pizza we ordered here, so we can see it. Pizza is the Wicked City sausage, cheese, and red sauce. That's what you call your basic pizza. I bought this one because it will go real well with the half of the Mexican food dinner I still have back at the hotel from last night. All right, let's go with the last one, the Belgian 3 bagger. It's the darkest of the bunch. And it's a rock solid no. No, I don't care for that. I'll just do this. Get it over with on this. We'll eat this one New York style.